All right, Broncos country. It's halftime here at the Bourbon Broncos No BS Orange Weekly. Man, what a first half. Ups and downs. Like, I feel like the entire first half was a full game of a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about it. Put your comments in there. Let us know what you think. But David, lots going on. Like, we thought like that pick six was going to, I'll be honest. I thought that pick six, like we're going in 21-10. Halftime, let's go. We have a good lead. They come down, drive the ball, score a touchdown to another tight end. Our Achilles heel. What's going on, man? And Jameis Winston with 200 and I have to pull up stats. 270 yards passing, 250 something yards passing in the first half. He covered the line. He covered his overall passing yards line in the first half. How are you feeling, David?
I mean, I think we all knew that the Browns were going to play the Broncos tough today. And I don't know that any of us knew that this specifically is how the game was going to go. Really, really interesting game strip so far. And you're right. Jameis Winston, 245 passing yards so far, outplaying Bo Nix on the stat sheet at the very least. But it's only, it's part of the story is, of course, this Denver defense not doing a great job at getting pressure right now. And they are really missing Riley Moss on the back end as a result this week. So I am hoping they will be able to get a little bit more pressure in the second half as they were able to do last week against Vegas when we saw them not really be able to do a whole lot as far as pressuring the quarterback in that first half either. But we'll just have to see if they can do that. I foresee a different game for them in the second half against Jameis Winston. We've seen him, on that one drive with the pick six, we saw him make that mistake. When we got a little bit of pressure in his face. But so, yeah, we have to be able to keep doing that, Jared.
Yeah, I want to try to stay positive on this show because there's a lot of things to look at. Like Jameis Winston's stats right now are just unreal. Like you're talking about end of game stats. If you have Jameis Winston in your fantasy league, you're probably winning. But ultimately, what it comes down to is like if we're talking about the positive, right? That pick six, Nick Bonito already with one of the sack leaders. I think he's top 3 right now. 0 sacks on Jameis Winston this week or today so far in the first half. I think you're right. Second half adjustments, we might get to him a little bit. But what you saw is Zach Allen get some pressure on him, make him make a decision, made the wrong decision, didn't see him. Nick Bonito with the pick six. That is the only reason we are winning this game. Like, let's be honest. Like, that's as far as our offense is driving the ball. We drove the ball on 2 drives successfully, and that's great. And Nick Bonito with that pick six is the only reason we are where we are. So that is amazing. Hey, we're gonna bring Spotty in here too. Oh man, we got 3 on the halftime hash. I love it. Spotty, what are you thinking, man? Like we're trying to keep it positive, right? We're looking at the pick six. We're looking at the offense successful on a couple drives. But now you're all on the other side. You're talking about our defense, who's supposed to be elite, right? We get the pick six. However, 1 punt this game. Jameis Winston covering the spread on the passing yards in the first half. How you feeling? Oh man, you're muted. I don't know what's
muted,
going on,
pal.
Man.
Yeah,
can't hear you.
Yeah, something. We'll get to Spotty in just a second. Spotty,
hold on. I feel like I know what he's going to say. He's going to say,
okay,
run the ball.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
you sure can. Go for
That's
it.
exactly what I'm going to say, Jared. There's the biggest difference because when you give somebody like Myles Garrett or any team that has pass rushing ability to just freely run at the quarterback at all times, you're going to run into trouble. And Bo, probably passing this ball, we're probably looking at 40 times in this game. It's not going to help us out. We have to establish some semblance of the run so that we can do those play action and do those screen plays. Otherwise, what's a screenplay if you're not afraid of the run?
Yeah, here we are, Alan, with the same comment here. Dude, we need to see them run the ball more. And it's not like we're not being successful on the run. There's been a couple times, right, we're stopped the line, but for the most part, we're getting 4 or 5. I mean, there was McLaughlin had an 11-yard run earlier. I'd like to see us run the ball a little bit more and establish a little bit more of a partial. I think being up will help, but it really depends on what happens in the second half because Browns get the ball first, and we are not doing a very good job of stopping them. 1 punt the entire first half.
Yeah, you've got to clean up a lot of stuff, and I hope the coaching staff is in there telling these guys right now, guys, you're lucky to be up. You're lucky to be up 4 points. This game is still within our control if we keep it there, but man, we got to do everything better. Both sides of the ball need to be executing a little bit better right now, and yeah, they've got to be hammering home you guys, we're winning this game, but for a few, just for a couple of plays there, like it could easily be going the other way, and we could be down by a couple of scores at this point. So yeah, it's time to make sure that they go out there in the second half and really execute a little better.
I think Cleveland thinks they saw something in the fact that they have a lot of these tight ends and some of their bigger receivers are running about 5 yards out and coming back. Nick Bonito's interception is that play, but that's what they keep doing. They're posting in Njoku. They're telling them to body up and catch the ball in front of you. They're getting 4 or 5 yards on that. That is something that we need to be aware of over this game. It might be even faking the blitz and running somebody back, but even before they scored that last touchdown, the first play where Stranad almost came over to hit that over, that's the exact same play. They're running that route almost every other, 2nd and 8 or 3rd and, everything.
Yeah, there's two people that Winston is looking at, is Jerry Jeudy and David Njoku. Like, those are the only two people he's looking at right now. And if we can adjust to figure out what we're going to do to stop him. And I trust VJ. Like, weird, right? Like, 4 years later, I trust VJ to be able to adjust to figure out what we're going to do. Because now we saw Pat Surtain was not following Jerry Jeudy in the first half. And that's fine. I would expect to see him being followed a little bit more. I think that we're going to adjust to that. And then what are we going to do against David Njoku? Do we run like some sort of Tampa 2 where we go man on one side and then go zone on the other, or what are we going to do?
I don't know, man. It felt like that touchdown pass specifically, Brandon Jones just wasn't in terrible coverage on that play. It was just
he wasn't.
It was just a quarterback putting the ball right and the tight end making a play. About Njoku specifically, my mantra is don't panic. I would like to see Surtain on Jeudy a little bit more, and I think they did a decent job of shadowing him at times, but he's clearly gotten his this week. And there have been quite a few plays where Surtain was not covering him. I would maybe see a little bit of a shift on that, but I don't want to overcorrect too far on the Njoku coverage, I don't think.
I feel like the issue is that the plays that we've seen where Pat Surtain is on Jeudy, that's when we were seeing breakdowns on Levi Wallace. And he got lucky on another play. He's not getting his head around to the right spot. And that could cost us if we're not paying attention. And it might be because we're too focused on our safeties being in the box. I think we have our safeties about 2 yards closer. And for most of these plays, there's something up with Nick Chubb. I know Stefanski didn't say anything about it, but there's something up with Nick Chubb because he didn't play much at all. So we continue to get pressure up the field with the front 5 on the run defense. It'll allow our safeties to be back more.
Yeah, so here we go. Jerome Ford and Nick Chubb both have 6 carries. Jerome Ford has 39 yards because he had that 21-yard run. That outside, it was the perfect play call against the defense. Like it just kind of worked out. We called a blitz on that side. They found it. They fixed it, and they got 21 yards. And then Jameis Winston, 18 for 31. Now, if you look at that stat, just 18 for 31, we're doing a pretty good job of defending the pass. 245 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. That pick 6 really killed him. Jerry Jeudy's already at 97 yards. Elijah Moore at 79. David Njoku, 32. With 2 touchdowns, and that's obviously in the red zone. We're not doing a very good job of red zone defense. Normally, the Denver Broncos are very good at opening it up in the middle of the field, stopping them before they get the touchdown, making them kick field goals. We're not doing that. I think that's what we're going to see in the adjustments. I don't be surprised if we see a lot of mid-game, between the 20s, some good yardage right there, driving the ball, and then we're getting the stop in the red zone, making them kick the field goals. That missed field goal at the beginning of the game is a huge one. As you look at this 17-21 at halftime, and then obviously the pick 6. It could be a completely different game if it wasn't for the missed field goal and the pick 6, but capitalizing on mistakes. The Denver Broncos are doing that, and that's how you're going to win this game.
Yeah.
88 yards on 2 plays.
Yeah, and it's really kind of been a boomer bust day for Cleveland's offense. And as for Denver's offense, it's a little bit stop and start, right? They've had some success on a couple of drives, other drives just not quite what you wanted. Not the consistency that we're kind of used to seeing from the Denver Broncos offense at this point. Maybe they'll bring that in the second half. I get the thought process here, Angelo. I personally I like to see Bo throw that up there. Even though he didn't complete that ball, I wanted to see him go for a play on third down instead of checking it down. Go ahead, Jared.
And here's the thing. Here's this thing. I love Bo because he learns, right? You look at that play. You look at the type of ball he threw, right? If he puts that on a little bit more of a trajectory, a little bit less of a trajectory with the safety coming over, that ball's completed. He's going to come into this after this game. He's going to go in that and be like, okay, I know what kind of ball I need to throw. And you're going to see this in the next 3 games. You're going to see it with the safety, single high safety coming over. You're going to see him put that ball on a little bit of a string. Not as, obviously, it's a deep ball, so it's not going to be as much of a string. But you're going to see it a little bit more with the trajectory. And you're going to see that being completed a little bit later in the season. I promise you. Which I love about Bo Nix because he's learning from his mistakes. And that's what it came down to. It was just in the air a little bit too long.
Yeah, for sure.
It's hard because the deep ball hasn't been part of our offense all year. And I think that we have to show that we have the capabilities at least a couple of times a game. Otherwise, we'll start to see safeties play up against us in most of our situations.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they can go back to that big play. Well, I want to see him keep testing it against the secondary. I think they can do it, and I think it's going to keep opening things up. But man, it does have to start with running the ball, right? Like, and Andrew, we're all. It feels like we're talking about a Broncos team that's down 2 scores right now. They're up 4-4, right?
That's what I want to try to keep it positive. We're up 21-17. I think for me the big mentality was I was going to come into this halftime show and being like, we're up 21-10. Right. And then that drive at the end of the half kind of sucks, but we are up. Can we stop them? They get the ball in the second half. Can we stop them from driving? Can we go down and score? Even if it's a field goal, I'm feeling comfortable with the way that the game is going. And Jameis Winston already at 245 yards. I do not see him hitting 500 yards this game. I don't see him throwing for 500 yards. I just don't. I think that we adjust and we figure it out. And now the absence of Riley Moss is really hurting us, right? Yeah. Like, we saw, and not to give crap to Levi, like he did a good job. Like that play just ended up going really long, and it's really hard to man cover for more than the 4 seconds that a play or 7 seconds that a play normally goes, and it was very difficult for him to do a 3 move. Right, it was a post up. It was like an in and then an up and then a corner, and he covered it for as long as he could. It was hard for him to cover. I don't want to give him crap. Levi Wallace is doing an okay job. I don't think he's not doing a very good job. We just need to be able to cover. They figured out our defense, and I think if we can adjust in the second half, we got this game.
Can we talk about the Benito interception though, just real quick?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about something positive, man.
Well, unfortunately, we don't have time because we're about to kick off the second half here, guys.
No, go real quick, Spotty.
Yeah, go real quick.
I am telling you, I was sweating my ass off because I saw Benito drop into coverage from the right end, and there seemed like to be a lot of confusion. He read the play perfectly, and he is quick. I'm really surprised that, I didn't realize he was only 250. So that's an amazing momentum. I think we're going to carry that and watch Nick Benito get 2 sacks in the second half.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Let's get back there. Nick Benito's feeling himself. Winston needs to get himself stopped. Angelo, Andrew, Anthony, Alan, Keith, Paula, and Michael, thank you so much for joining us. That is the end of this halftime hash. Let's go out there and win this game. Let's get into the playoffs. Let's go. And we're going to end it as we always do with a very strong Go
Broncos.